We'd like to welcome you to Highway Robbery. We're here doing a vinyl lettering removal, and I'm using a Wagner heat gun. It's a 1200 watt, so it probably pulls, 1500 plus watts on upon startup. Now it's about 45 degrees outside today, and it was about 30 overnight, so it was pretty cold outside. And what happens with this stuff is when it's cold, it gets real brittle. And so if you go to try to pull it off, it just flakes. So what I'm doing here is I'm just simply, it's kind of giving the general area a heat up. And then once you now if you're in a warmer climate, it's not, not really necessary. But then you get the heat gun and you just kind of focus on one corner, and it's just enough to where you can get your fingernail or something underneath it. And then, if you can manage to pull it off, see, if you noticed right there, it snapped. And that's just because of how cold it is outside. And that's just like a little piece that come off of it. And so it's just the same thing that goes through, and you just kind of pick and pull at it. But the goal of it is try to get it to come up in one piece, so you don't have to keep pulling it and messing with it. See right there how it rips? That's just, again, because it's so cold outside. But we're gonna sit here for a minute and just watch kind of as I go through. I've taken the original audio off of here because the microphone wasn't working properly, and so all you could really hear was the heat gun running and me mumbling in the background. And this is aluminum siding. It's not galvanized. It's aluminum with I guess a powder coat finish. And if you notice right there is a big chunk of glue, and all I'm doing is just rubbing it sort of in a circle with with a little bit of pressure. And because it's cold enough outside, it doesn't goop up and kind of smear. It actually just it balls upon itself, and then it just completely clears of the trailer. If you was to take the heat gun and heat it, it would actually just smear and goop up, and you wouldn't be able to get it off as easy. If you notice, I use no chemicals, nothing special, just rub some fingers on it and it was good to go. What happens with the heat gun and the vinyl is if you heat it up too much, the glue on it will stick to the trailer and not to the paper itself, or to the vinyl lettering itself. The other thing that I had noticed was there's a spot, I didn't get it recorded, but there was a spot from the original. I'm trying to think, when the trailer was first bought years ago, it's got some of the original stickers that come on it from the manufacturer. Now those are a little bit more difficult. Anything that's been out in the sun for years and years and years, and it's been weathered really bad, it's going to, what do you put it? It's gonna be a little more difficult. Matter of fact, if you see that Freedom sticker right there next to the tail light, that's one of the original stickers. And those, you got to heat them up a little bit more, and you got to finesse them just a little bit more, because the vinyl portion on them is deteriorating and breaking down, and so they don't stay together as much. This is the heat trick is actually something I learned from YouTube and whatnot. And the heat gun works in amazing, just amazing ways. Many things can be done with it, as far as heating plastic up to mold it, to put holes in it, to the gun runs at like 1200 degrees on high and like 800, 900 degrees on low. Now, I don't recommend using it to dry your hair. Just saying, it burns the hair quicker than it dries, because the gun is so hot, and it was only like 40 bucks at Home Depot. Now, Home Depot doesn't sponsor this video, but I enjoy shopping there. And you get the paint gun from the paint department. It's one of those strange things. They're not in the tool department, and they're over in the paint department. And then that's on any, Home Depot or Lowe's or probably another hardware store, or any paint. Matter of fact, if you need one, you can go to any probably paint supply, and they'll have it, because it's something. Now, what painters use them for, I really don't know on a daily basis, but it's something that comes in handy because it produces such an immense amount of heat that you can mold stuff and make it goopy or burn your living finger off. Now, if you notice right there on the A, it had cracked and peeled real bad, and that's because I didn't preheat any of this side on here. Now on this part, if you actually noticed on there, I actually pulled out and then I pulled down, and that sort of stretched it enough to get it to pop off. See, if this was older material that had been on here for, I don't know, I want to say 10 years, because this stuff's 3 or 4 years old. It's a couple years old, and it's pulling off really well. It sits out in the sun. It's a black trailer. I mean, that aluminum gets so hot it'll burn you, sizzle you, leave a blister. And this didn't take me all but the recording's 10 minutes. I got a little bit more to do, and it didn't take probably 10 minutes aside. Plus I took the time setting up the camera and whatnot, and so altogether, less than an hour to remove it all. Now, the other option, if you're like in a real hot environment and it's hot, and maybe this is summertime and you're doing this, my other thought is there's a couple thoughts. They have something called air duster, and if you take the air duster, it's meant for, go to CVS or Walgreens. It's meant to clean out like electronic components and whatnot, and because it's I don't know what's in it, but it evaporates. It's safe for the electronics components. But if you take that stuff and you shake it real well and flip it upside down, you can actually get stuff it comes out at like a liquid level instead of a gas. And so when it comes out, it sort of freeze things. And so one of my thoughts was you could always take something like that and spray on it and make it good and cold. And in that way, this is more, I guess, more for the glue side of it, to help remove the glue, or just to change the temperature of it. You can just spray it on it. It's non-flammable, non-toxic, so there's nothing dangerous about it. But you can just simply spray it on, and it would help change the temperature. The other stuff I come across was called pipe freezer, Arctic pipe freezer, and it's something to do with plumbers. And for whatever, I don't know what it's for, but basically this stuff you can actually spray right side up and spray it on it, and it'll get it to freezing temperatures. But this is just going through, pulling off a couple extra pieces. I actually ended up getting a phone call right after this, so I went ahead and ended the video. But let me know what you think. Leave some comments. Enjoy.